What is good, y'all? Welcome back to Chris and Ruff Productions. As always, I am Chris. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So today, I'm going to be getting into my spoiler review for The Fall Guy.
We're gonna surround him.
And we beat the shit out of him.
The Fall Guy is an action-packed film starring Ryan Gosling as Colt and Emily Blunt as Jody. So in this review, I'm going to get into some of the things that I really enjoyed, some of the stuff that kind of dragged, or some things that I didn't really care for at moments. Overall, was this movie a hit or a miss? I believe it is a hit, although there are some flaws that I kind of went through watching this film. So, as always, before I get into the spoiler review, if you like this video, if you're going to like this video, please hit that like button. It definitely helps out the channel. So, let's go ahead and get into this film. First, let's start off with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, our leads. Essentially, the premise of this movie is about a stunt performer named Colt and his relationship with Jody. Is getting her big break with her first director debut, and Colt is going to be her lead stuntman, unbeknownst to her. One thing leads to another. He has to save her production by locating the main star, Ryder, who's played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. First, Tom Ryder, probably, I'm being honest, like my favorite character because of how much of a douchebag he is. But we'll get into more into that later. Um, and essentially, Ryan Gosling is Ryan Gosling in this film. If you've seen Nice Guys, if you've seen basically anything where it's sort of action comedy type film, Barbie, well, that's more of like a comedy drama type film. He plays the sort of not the brightest or the sharpest color in the toolbox, crayon in the toolbox. Um, Colt, he is a stuntman who has a great relationship with Jody, who starts off as a camera operator. So let's get into that. That is the main premise of our story, Colt and Jody's relationship. So as far as the moments of the movie where we see them sort of rekindle, or at least he tries to rekindle their relationship. He gets injured on set. He's gone for 18 months, basically ghosts her, obviously rubs her the wrong way. So she doesn't really want anything to do with him, but he wants to get her back. And throughout the film, that's what he does. That's our main plot point, aside from the one where he goes and he finds Tom Ryder. I think what this movie does best is it sets up perfect action sequences. I believe, obviously, this movie is directed by a former stuntman, David Leitch. Once a stuntman, always a stuntman. So you could tell that the set pieces on this movie are absolutely incredible. I think that is the strongest suit, is the homage that it plays to stuntman, and that is an underlying tone throughout this whole movie. There are moments where Colt, he's chasing someone down and he's like, I gotta stop this car. I gotta stop it with my body. He puts on a mouth guard, gets hit by the car, and he does a routine thing. Throughout this movie, there are moments of where Colt is being an absolute stuntman in the real world within the premise of this movie because he has to. That's all that he knows. Um, and for Jody, she is obviously, like I mentioned, she's someone that doesn't really want much to do with Cole. He kind of ghosted her for 18 months. And I understand that. I think something that I struggled with the movie is that he is trying to save her production by finding Tom. And of course, she doesn't know that up until the towards the end of the towards the third act. But I think the movie was toting a line of wanting her to be oblivious of the situation, and at the same time to her taking it out on Colt because of him being gone for 18 months. And Ryan Gosling plays the wonderful, goofy type of character as he does. He's trying to win her back. So if you're going into this film expecting a love story, then or at least a tumultuous love story, then that's something you're gonna get. Going into this movie, I understood that was, the not, I don't know about the main premise of him getting injured, but of him trying to win her back. I think it does an okay job at doing that. Does it deliver in presenting The dialogue and to presenting Colt wanting to win Jody back, of course, it does that well in presenting that. Did I feel it in terms of I felt that Colt loved Jody, and throughout the movie, he was doing anything he could to save her production. He was doing the craziest things. But on paper, it kind of just got old after a while. I guess that's what I'm feeling. Um, it kind of got overplayed to an extent, uh, where he's obviously doing what he can to save the production, and she doesn't know that what's going on, so she's gonna be still upset at him because of him being gone for that long. Um, so I'm sure obviously that was a choice that David Leitch was going for. That's the premise of this story. But for me, it got old really fast of him going after her and him kind of her like being cold shoulder at moments, and at a certain point, it's like, okay, when are we gonna turn the page? And they do in the third act. Um, so let's get into we'll get into the third act, but there's moments that I really enjoyed. The action, of course. Um, I thought it was shot beautifully. There were sequences of my favorite action sequence involved a dog. I don't remember the dog's name. The dog was French. Like the dog only knew French commands. And seeing Gosling interact with dog giving the dog French commands, that was my favorite part of the movie was their relationship. That was absolutely funny. Um and as far as, the third act came when it came to the big action sequence, I think it handled it pretty well. Another thing that bothered me a lot was it had two endings. Um, and you felt the runtime. You really did. At least I did. This movie's 2 hours and 5 minutes, which in compared to a lot of movies, it's not that very long. But for the story that it's presenting, I think it dragged on a bit. They could have easily shaved. I think 15 minutes would have done wonders for this film. It would have made the pacing a lot better for me personally. Um, it had two endings where it was kind of like the climax with, Colt getting the confession. Oh yeah, the also Tom Rider, he killed somebody. So that's why Tom Rider is, he's, missing from set. He's trying to figure out what to do. And Meyer, played by Hannah Waddingham, right? That's her name, Waddingham. She's from Ted Lasso. Her character was, I really enjoyed her character, especially when you found out she was not a good person. Well, she was never presented to be a good person. She was very arrogant from the start, but when you found out what she was really doing, she really wasn't a good person. Towards a certain point, it was kind of like she didn't feel like a real character at all. Gail. So did Tom Rider. Tom Rider was just this Artor, full of himself type of actor, which is obviously what they were going for. But that was a choice that they made. Another character that was probably my second favorite character was Winston Duke. He played Dan Tucker. Winston Duke is the head stuntman for Jody's movie. And him and Gosling have great chemistry on screen. Throughout the movie, Dan Tucker, Winston Duke, he's quoting movies, and I'm such a nerd. I was guessing them before Ryan Gosling. So I thought that was really fun that throughout the movie he was quoting stuff, and then when he was doing action sequences, he was naming out the movie that he was doing the move from. So I thought that was really fun. Um, so I'm jumping back and forth to things that I really like, things that I didn't really like. Something that kind of hindered the movie that was uh Tom Ryder's bodyguards. Some dude named Dressler, played by Ben. I feel like Ben Knight, the not Ben Knight himself, the actor, he was great, but the character Dressler felt like he was supposed to be a Bond villain, a Bond type of bodyguard henchman, because they were doing some stuff was like, oh my god, to get the cops involved, please, like some of this shit's not necessary, like the way that they were taking over the sets, Tom Rider's bodyguards was kind of like obnoxious at a certain point. Obviously, they're building up stakes. Um, but I think it was way overdone at certain points. Um, but back, I don't know. The also some of the other things that I really enjoyed was I thought the ending was satisfying. Where spoilers, I'm spoiling the movie. Whenever they were able to get the confession out of Tom Ryder that he killed his stunt double. Tom Ryder is the reason why Colt was hurt at the beginning of the movie. He killed his new stunt double. He framed Colt, but Colt had evidence. Well, they got Tom Ryder to confess. All that was a satisfying ending. Seeing the stuntmen at the end do their thing as stuntmen, like you knew it was the stuntmen doing their own stunts. I thought that was beautiful because they deserve so much credit. So the ending of Tom Ryder being caught and Colt getting the confession tape and Jody helping him throughout, I loved that part. So there was two where they got the confession out of Tom, and then it double dipped and went back into another 15 minutes of action that it involved them chasing Tom because he stole the confession. It was kind of uh like I said, I appreciate and I love what they did because you were able to see the stuntman. I kind of wish they were able to fold that into each other better without having it have a question question a crescendo. I can't talk. A crescendo. Oh my gosh. And then you get like, oh, they did it. They won. Oh wait, there's more and there's 15 more minutes. I was like, oh my gosh. So I wish there was a way that they're able to fold that over and kind of layer that better. But at the end of the day, it was good to see more action because that's what this movie is advertising it as, and that's what you got. So overall, I think over and under, I did enjoy this film in terms of pacing and the structure of the plot. I think it underperformed for me personally. If I had to scale this on a scale out of 10, I'll give it a 7. Based off of action alone, it's a 10. The action is beautiful. But I don't know. I just think the pacing was off for me personally, and it having two separate endings kind of like took the energy out of you. So overall, I enjoyed Ryan Gosling. Emily Blunt, she was great as well. But Ryan Gosling was a star. I came for Ryan Gosling, and he was the star. He was great. Emily Blunt, she was good for her role. Um, but I guess that whatever. So guys, what did you think of this film? I'm just rambling at this point. I do apologize for it not being as structured. I was debating on doing this review. I've been having some personal stuff going on. So, but you know what? I figured I'm like, you know what? Let me keep my mind busy and let me do this review. So, guys, let me know down below, what did you think of this movie? Did I convince you to go watch it? I don't know. If you're on the fence of watching it, um, if you're going base for the action, of course, go. If you're looking for more of a story, I'd say just wait. Wait till it's on streaming. If you want more of a story, then I don't know if this is the movie for you. But don't knock it till you try it. This is just my opinion. So, guys, that is pretty much it. If you're still watching, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help the channel. But as always, guys, I'm Chris. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.